A very warm welcome to the 35th International DOK.fest Munich, this year as an online edition, DOK.fest Munich at Home 2020. My name is Daniel Lang, I'm a filmmaker, I'm also a teacher, and I'm moderating this conversation. We are very, very happy to show the German premiere of the film IMMORTAL by Ksenia Okhapkina in the section Best of Fests 2020. The film is also nominated for the Kino Audience Award, sponsored by BR and Dreisat. So if you really like this film, you can give it your vote after watching it. And I'm very happy and very happy to welcome Ksenia with me here today. Hello, Ksenia.
Yeah, hello, Daniel.
Ksenia, where are you at the moment?
I'm in St. Petersburg, in my flat, staying locked here, still writing some script.
Okay, so you're working, but you're inside. You're in a lockdown, working on a new project.
Oh yes. Sometimes I illegally go around town on my kick scooter. Yeah, holding a big bag because we are allowed only to go out for some meals. Yeah, but if I have a bag, nobody can tell that I'm going for another purpose. Well, it's so strange actually, because we now all kind of imprisoned. Yeah. Well, and it's good to know, like, that we can continue seeing films and discussing them. Yeah, but still, I hope that this situation will end and we can see the films on the big screen soon.
Us too, of course. Ksenia, about your film IMMORTAL, it's set in the very north of Russia, in a town of like 50 or 60,000 people. It's very atmospheric, and it's about these young cadets that you film without any voiceover, without any interview. Is this the way you always work?
With my previous films, yes, I made one film with the interview. It was about an architecture, but yeah, I prefer this kind of genre. And before this film, I made some shorts and a documentary on Chechnya, Latin Chechnya. And yes, I think that observation, especially when you go on analyzing some very dramatic and painful social and political topics, it's better to stay a little bit aside and to show some action happening, some environment in which the people live, and to show some connections of their life between the people of their life and their space and the circumstances they live, because the rest can tell the journalists. And for me as a documentary director, I think that's kind of a mission to introduce to the viewer some special sort of reality, without judging and without, without giving straightly my opinion or some straight concept to the viewer, to to just to find these connections in reality and build a film out of these connections and to introduce it to the viewer. That's why, yes, especially when we talk about the people who are trapped in the situation of kind of prisoners with a free will, and whose children have to join some military actions or to learn military stuff, which is crazy. Yeah, and you can't judge, you better just see it and find reasons of why is this happening. That's why I chose not to put a lot of comments. Yeah.
How did you find this place? How did you find this mining town and these like military academies?
I was looking for the space basically because I had the question about the Soviet past and about the restoration of and some nostalgia for the Soviet Union, which takes place in Russia, in modern Russia. And it was a big surprise because my impression on Soviet Union, what I know from my parents, who actually spot with the system, and which it was quite a big price which they paid for it. And my question was, what is freedom, and why should you fight the system, because it is so painful sometimes to make it. And I wanted to explore the pure Soviet phenomenon. That's why I was looking for some town which appeared in the place where there have been no culture before, and nobody lived there. And Apatiti is one of the such towns. It is industrial town. It was first appeared as a labor camp in the Stalin's times, and then. Then the town appeared on this place, and there was nothing before. That's why I chose this place to explore it, and I monitored what's happening there, because there is a factory, and there is not much to do except working at the factory. And I was exploring some activities which are outside this hours working time. And then I found that there are some this house of culture, so-called, where the children spend all their free time, not in family, but in this house of culture. And I felt that this is a special institution where the state system kind of forms new citizens, using the situation that the parents have to survive and they don't have time for their children. And yes, and I understood that it's just the place that I should film in, and we went and we observed. And this young army, this cadets organization, it wasn't there when we started. There was a organization where where mostly boys, which boys mostly attended. Sorry, but it was not the young. They didn't have these red hats and nothing. They just made some military activities. And then right before the filming, this young army started to appear in the small towns like Apatiti in Crimea, and then it came to the big towns. And now it causes a big discussion still in Russia, because many parents are against their children to learn military, to learn this the whole, like recollecting the gun and marching, but it is like a regular activity for the scholars. And if you don't want to attend, so you should say that you don't want to attend. Otherwise, the children will make it. So yeah, and it came to the big towns, and now it's all over Russia.
Was there, like in the beginning, because you said, this young military academy wasn't there in the beginning. Did you have like a script in the beginning, or did you just go there and film? Because it's your film is a very atmospheric film. It has shots in it where I thought of Blade Runner or science fiction films, like dystopian science fiction films. Mm-hmm. And then I realized I'm in Russia. I'm in modern day Russia, where the sun never shines. It's always cold. Was that your intention when you went there, or was it something that you built while filming?
Oh, I felt when I came there, I immediately understood that this is kind of sci-fi, because you immediately have a feeling that you're on the moon or on some other planet, not the Earth, with these mountains and these lights in the night. Yeah, it's a totally cosmic space. So it was my feeling, which we used, and we used the stage to combine with these shots filmed at night. And I wanted to produce this film that everything's happening in some open space and at the stage at the same time. So it's not a real life, it's kind of a play, something which is staged. We didn't stage anything, but this life is quite artificial itself, and people don't do something which they would do spontaneously. They do something because they believe for some reason that they have to take part in it, and this is this surreal element of the reality which we observed, and we started filming during the first research. I went there with my cameraman because I was observing what's happening in the town through the news and the internet, and I knew that we have an event, and we started to film and to look for this special stylistic. Yes, and then we developed it, but and I had the script, but it was more like the concept, like of immortality, because when you see everything, I think yes, first script was I was writing, and my producer said, "No, don't try it. They will think that you're not sure in your film." Because said, "Oh, that's everything is so weird there, guys. And it's not connected. This looks like like Alice in Wonderland," because like it was a number of very surprising situations in which people act very strangely and not really adequately sometimes. But my goal was to find a reason of why is it happening. So why does it look so crazy? Why do the people live finally in this crazy place?
And do they have you shown your protagonists the film? Have they seen it?
No, not yet. I was planning to do that, but I didn't know if I could make it safely. And my team said that I should have some car to run away very fast. But I don't know, because like there was some public discussion in the internet on the film. Maybe somebody from the town saw it, and they said, okay, maybe it's not that bad, because in every interview I say that I don't blame people in anything, which is true, and my protagonists are more kind of social roles than real people who with their psychological background included in some spontaneous life. On their place, anybody could happen. That's why they calm down a little, but it would be interesting for me to show them. Yeah,
I think it would be very interesting to see,
yeah.
because I think that the reaction could be quite a positive one as well. It could be like the opposite that you expect.
Yeah, in St. Petersburg and in Moscow, there were some viewers when we showed the film from Apatity, and in Moscow there was one boy who said that he attended these cadets courses, and there was, because some aggression started to come from the hall, from the questions and comments, and he said, no, that's all true, and I'm from there, which saved me actually. Yeah, and said yes, and I escaped this reality, but for the people who stay, I don't know what to do. Yeah, and I understood that I don't have recipe of what to do with it, except like not accepting this situation as granted.
So would you say that the film came together in the editing, like that you built the film in the editing?
Yes, sure. Something was planned. So there were some scenes, the events that we knew that were going to happen. These boys swearing to protect their fatherland, some shooting, some dances. So it was, like it's predictable, something that happening every day. So I wanted to have the circulation of trains and people, this structure I had in my head, and we filmed it. But in the end, of course, it is more plastic. It's very plastic thing that you never know which episode will go after which. But the structure, yes, was made before the shooting, the circulation structure. And we were working for it, and this is finally in the film. But I think it's always happening with such observational films that you don't, you can see, have a feeling and structure of the whole project in the beginning before you film, but you never know which episode will go after which, of course.
And how long did you shoot? How many days shooting did you have roundabout? Was it just one shot, like one shoot, or did did you go there more than once?
Several. So there is quite a bite part of the footage from the research, and for the research I was there 3 times and stayed for quite a long time. And the main shooting, like organized, we had two shootings. One in autumn, when you see this, you know, like gray landscape. There's fantastic state when the green's color is already gone, but it's not totally white, and you can see the structure of the buildings and the mountains, which is really beautiful. So we came for this in autumn, and main shooting was around, it was a week or a little bit more than a week, and the main shooting was around 3 weeks. So I think it was month in general that we filmed there.
Okay. And Ksenia, what are the next projects? Are you working? You said you're working on a script. Is it a fiction script or a documentary or?
It's documentary, yeah. It's you know, like everything changes with the situation, because I started a new project on women on Caucasus. It was kind of on border issue and relations between the genders, which I think were connected. And I went on research last summer. And I'm so happy that I didn't push it so far, because now I don't know if I can finalize it in the near time. I will make it for sure, but maybe later. And now I write the script about things happening in St. Petersburg, not connected with coronavirus, but maybe another side of the life in Russia, about the people who kind of escape this immortal way of living and create some new other reality. I don't know what will go out of it, but I'm very fascinated, and it's also the way for me to stay here included in life. And you know, like it's very hard to stay in one place for me without analyzing what's happening around. So yeah, that was just something new that came when I happened to be trapped. But I believe that this would be something interesting.
Fantastic. I'm looking forward to watching the film. Ksenia, thank you very, very much for talking to us.
Thank you, Daniel.
And goodbye to St. Petersburg. Bye-bye.